name is Jay Johnson. I'm the executive chef at Abraham Baldwin Agricultural College. Today we are making shrimp and grits. You'll see some people do it tomato based, and mine is kind of more on the creamy side. So you'll see that reflected in my ingredients here, which I have about a cup of heavy cream, and I got about 2 ounces of dry white wine. That's from our Pearl wine. It's from Paulk Vineyards. It's a semi-dried muscadine wine. This here is smoked sea salt. We have some blackening seasoning. We've got some bacon from Curtis Packing Company, and I asked them to give me the whole side so I could cut it a little bit thicker myself, overachiever, and dice it up, or not dice it up. These are called lardons when you cut them a little bit long. And then we have our wild Georgia shrimp, and also lemon, shallots, and garlic, fresh cracked pepper. So before we get started on the shrimp, we need to get our grits going. We've got our Georgia Agorama grits. These have a little bit of bran on them, so you're going to want to either soak these overnight or just kind of wash them a couple of times in some warm water, and the bran will float to the top, and you can just kind of skim it off the top. I've got some clean already here. Ingredients for your grits: you're going to need about 3/4 of a cup of water, 1/4 cup of cream. I have that in the pot here already. You're going to need a couple, 3 tablespoons of butter. We have about 2 ounces of Asiago cheese. And this cheese is aged, so it has a really rich, fragrant aroma. A pinch of smoked sea salt, and we've got our cracked black pepper. So I got all my ingredients here. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and cut the heat up to medium-high to high. Let this cream and water start boiling. Add in our butter. Careful not to splash yourself. Grab my rubber spatula. I like to use a spatula instead of a whisk when I am doing any sort of pot or any sort of a stew or a sauce, and make sure nothing gets stuck down there. So I'm going to let that come to a boil. While that's coming to a boil, go ahead and just a pinch of sea salt, maybe a 1/4 teaspoon if you're measuring. Couple of turns of your pepper milk. So this is starting to boil. I'm going to go ahead and add my grits in, making sure it doesn't splash up on you. Give that a stir and reduce your heat down just to a simmer. If you're pressed for time, by all means, I like quick grits because they get very tender easily, and they don't require a lot of babysitting. These take about 40 to 50 minutes to cook. I've got enough here to feed a couple of people and make a couple of plates, so just expand that recipe however you need to. And I'm going to save my cheese for the end. As these grits get closer to being done, you can pour the cheese in. But for now, I'm going to turn the heat down, and I'm going to put a lid on our grits and let them simmer for a little while. And we're going to go get our shrimp ready. So first off, we're going to go ahead and get our lemon cut in half. We're going to need that later on when we're picking this dish up. Set that off to the side. For our shallot, you'll see it's got kind of a flat shape here. If you'll cut it where it's flat, it'll make it easier to dice that up. We're just going to do a small dice on that shallot. Cut it long ways. Just kind of turn around and make little squares out of it. I'm just going to keep doing that. Clean my knife off here. If you'll leave a little meat on the back of the shallot, it'll help it to stay together while you're cutting the whole thing. And you can use this same cutting technique for onions or garlic. Thing cut up. And that was just 2 large shallots. That's actually 2 small shallots. and they add a lot of the flavor. And then the garlic, just gonna do it the same way. If you have a press, by all means, use the press. I'm just gonna go for a small dice on that garlic. Make sure you keep your fingers out of the way. I call this the eagle claw. That's how I hold my produce. Old martial arts movie reference. What do you guys call that? Alright, so I've got some parsley and just need a little bit of that. And I've got some thyme. Just need just a few, maybe 3 or 4 sprigs of thyme. And for garnishing later, I've got a few chives, and just take 3 or 4 of those. Leave them kind of long. You can cut them in half, you can cut them in thirds, but take your knife and turn it almost, at a very sharp angle, and it makes these fun little sharp points on the ends of them. And that'll make a nice garnish. This is curly parsley. I like curly parsley because it's the easiest to me it's the easiest to work with. Just take it and hold the stem kind of down. You can kind of fillet the bushy things off. I don't know what the technical term, leaves. That would be a more appropriate term, the leaves off. All right, so you got your parsley, and then go ahead, don't cut your parsley yet, go ahead and take your thyme and drop it right down in that pile of parsley. So that's enough thyme. Now, when you have the thyme and the parsley together, just gonna use the parsley to roll the thyme up into. It makes it easier to cut. It's really hard to cut thyme if you're just cutting it by yourself, but it's easy to cut a lot of herbs at the same time. Just get it kind of bunched into a tight bunch with both your hands before you pick up your knife, and then just kind of butt the knife up against it and shave it kind of thin. And that will cut up the thyme and the parsley, saving us time, no pun intended. So that's everything that we need to pick up this dish. So we will take our ingredients over to the stove and get this thing going. All right, so we're here at the range. I have a gas range here. I'm going to turn my flame to about medium to medium-high heat. I'm going to go ahead and go in with my smoked bacon, lardons, and you will start to hear those sizzle. Just kind of work that around just a little bit. If you want to try doing some tricks, you can try tossing your food around the pan, but that's not necessary. Going to caramelize the sugars. Alright, so I see that my bacon's starting to get the color that I want, so I'm going to take my dry white muscadine wine. If you're over open flame, just be careful because it might flame up. You don't have to flame it up, but kind of like it. Maybe don't do that in your house. I don't know. And that'll help release all of that flavor back into your sauce. And at this time, we can go ahead and go in with all of our ingredients. I'm going to go ahead and put my lemon juice in here. Just have a mesh strainer here so I don't get my seeds or pulp into the pan. 1 lemon juice should be enough for this dish. I'm going to go ahead and go in with my shallots and garlic. I'm going to go in with my herbs, my thyme, my parsley. I'm going to go in with my cream. I have 1 cup of cream here. Got a pinch of the smoked sea salt. It's about a 1/4 tablespoon. I'm going to do a couple of pinches of my seasoning blend here, the blackening seasoning. That should be about a tablespoon. And finally, maybe 3 or 4 or 5 good turns of your pepper mill, depending on how good it is, how quickly it comes out, how much you like pepper. And just give this a stir. Let everything reduce down. This sauce, and this sauce you can use for a lot of applications. You can use this for sausage, for chicken. I'm going to reduce it down. Then we're going to head ahead and take our shrimp, and you can do these with the tail on or with the tail off. It doesn't matter. It obviously eats easier with the tail off. I'm just going to put these in here and let them cook evenly, just on one side as this sauce reduces. Make sure they all get down in there good. And the shrimp should only cook for a total of about 3 minutes. We'll do it for about 1.5 minutes on this side, and then flip them over. Do it for about 1 minute on the other side, and then we'll be ready to plate in a little bit. So I'm going to let this sauce continue to thicken just a little bit. Still right in about a medium to high heat. The shrimp start to turn pink around the edges. Just be careful you turn each one. And these are going to go for another minute on this side as the sauce continues to reduce. Alright, so these shrimp should be done. So we're going to take our pan of shrimp and the sauce over to the table, and we're going to plate it up and get ready to eat. Alright, so here we are. We have our grits that we added our Asiago cheese into, and we're ready to do our plate up. But before we do that, I want to introduce you to our alumni director, Linda Fisher. She's here. She's going to be our official taste tester today.
Yes, I'm so glad to be here. So thank you for having us. Thank you for doing this for us. So we appreciate this.
Yes, ma'am.
I do want to ask, as you're plating it, is this an easy, medium, hard dish? I know you're a professional, but for the rest of us who aren't, what would you consider this?
This is super easy dish to make. I mean, you don't have to have the pan on such high heat. You can take it slow and easy. If you want to watch the video and pause it, you could easily make this dish at home just by stopping and playing. I'm going to take my shrimp. And these have the tail on. Again, they don't. If you wanted to cook them with the tail off, that would be fine. And go ahead and plate those. Put them in your little grit valley you made down here. We want to make sure we like the sauce. The sauce is the main ingredient here.
And so this is a very creamy shrimp and grits, right?
Yes.
Very creamy.
This is very creamy, and the cream balance is really nice with the white wine. And just going to add the sauce. You can add it off to the side if you want the tails to be seen. And then I've got here our ABAC Green and Gold infused oils. This is a chili oil, and this is a basil oil. I can show you guys how to make that maybe some other time. And just kind of, if you have an infused oil, it's fine. If you don't, it's not a big deal, because we got a couple of other garnishes that's going on here. We got our chives that we cut. You can put those on any way that you like. Doesn't really matter. It's time to just be artistic, I guess. I have a couple of lemon wedges that I took the seeds out.
And that looks beautiful. What a great presentation of shrimp and grits. So we're so glad we had so many alumni and friends out there who voted for this. And I'm going to just dig in.
Please.
Is that okay? All right. So I'm going to try a bite with the grits first. That does look wonderfully creamy. Wow, that is delicious. Just grab the tail and go, huh?
Yeah, if you just go after it. I like to sit in the dark corner with this plate and just kind of be by myself.
This is delicious. This is a good work day for me. This is wonderful.
Yes, ma'am. Me too.
Well, we are so thankful, excuse me, for Jay taking his time to show us this wonderful recipe. We thank you to all our alumni and friends who voted for this wonderful dish. Let us know your comments. Let us know if you made this and what you might want to see us do again in the future. So share, like. Thank you again, Jay. Thank you for your expertise and what you do for ABAC.
Thank you for having me.